Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to our online teaching academy. Cbse Class 12 Economics. Today we are going to discuss the meaning of infrastructure, its types, relevance, and health as a key component of social infrastructure and state of infrastructure in India. Imagine life in the absence of transport facilities or bridges, telecommunication, electricity, that is energy, water, hospitals, sanitation, education facilities, etc. What would happen? There wouldn't be any production activity in the economy. If infrastructure facilities are developed, we feel comfortable and happy. Similarly, if such facilities are there in the nation, it leads to increase in GDP. What is infrastructure? Infrastructure refers to a support system of economic and social development of a country, without which economic growth and social development would only remain to be primitive. We all know the importance of infrastructure. It is the support system of economic and social development. It supports the economic and social development. What are the supporting services through infrastructure? So few examples are roads, railways, airways, power stations, where energy is used, oil, gas, health, education, it means schools, other education institutions like colleges, universities, all these are the support system which would be helpful for economic and social development of a country, without which economic growth and social development would only remain to be primitive. Just visualize, there's no transport facilities. How can we travel from one place to another? Or if there's no energy, how can production take place? The machinery runs using electricity or petroleum or coal. So without all this, how can there be production? We can classify infrastructure into two: economic infrastructure and social infrastructure, based on the utility. Now, from the word economic, we can understand that this would help or accelerate growth in the economy, whereas social infrastructure accelerates the process of human development. Economic infrastructure accelerates economic growth. Now let us know the definition of economic infrastructure. Economic infrastructure refers to such elements of support system which serve as a driving force for production activity in the economy. Example: energy, transport, communication, etc., which would help to improve the efficiency of economic resources. When the efficiency of economic resources increase, this would raise the productivity and production. But it is not possible without social infrastructure. Social infrastructure refers to such elements of support system which serve as a driving force for social development of a country. It means for human development, for the human capital formation. Few examples of social infrastructure are health, education, housing, all the basic facilities which would help a human being. This indirectly supports the economic system, whereas economic infrastructure directly helps for economic growth. And there is again another difference between economic infrastructure and social infrastructure. Economic infrastructure raises the stock of physical capital, and this in turn will increase production, and that would lead to economic growth. And that is why we say this as economic infrastructure, whereas social infrastructure increases the stock of human capital. Importance of infrastructure. Let us now see the relevance of infrastructure in the economy. The economic development of a country depends largely on the development of its infrastructure. Infrastructure promotes productivity. It raises productivity in all the three sectors of the economy: the primary sector, that is the agricultural sector, the secondary sector or the industrial sector, and the tertiary sector. Social infrastructure promotes the quality of life, and this quality of life can be improved if a person has good health and education, and this in turn raises the skill and efficiency of human beings. When skill and efficiency is high in human beings, this would help to promote productivity. That is how the productivity increases in the economy, and this would help in reduction in cost of production. The second important benefit or use of infrastructure is that it improves quality of life of people. Infrastructure facilities raise the standard of living and the quality of life of people. Without education or without good housing facility or good hospitals and dispensaries, how can people have a better quality of life? The third one is that infrastructure reduces morbidity rate. Improvement in water supply, pure drinking water, then housing, sanitation with clean environment, all this would reduce the morbidity rate. Morbidity rate is the frequency of proportion with which a disease appears in a population. So when people are prone to disease, we say this as morbidity rate, and due to all these facilities, that is pure drinking water or good housing and good sanitation without any gutter flowing in front of the houses, so clean environment, all such infrastructure reduces morbidity rate. The next one is that infrastructure helps in the expansion of trade and commerce. Trade and commerce develops only if there is development in transport and communication. Transport facilities like roadways which link all the highways and main cities, and then the airways, the waterways or the seaways, etc. This enhances the size of market beyond the domestic territory of the country also. So there would be international trade as well. And this brings about growth in the economy. Infrastructure induces investment. Higher the income in the economy, higher would be the investment. And this would take place if there is development in infrastructure. Infrastructure is the backbone of business investment. We can call infrastructure as the backbone of business investment. A developed network of highways, an example of economic infrastructure, would induce investment across all sectors of the economy. It facilitates efficient movement of goods and services across different regions of the country. Infrastructure enhances ability to work. Good health and good education, like educational institutions, universities, all this would increase the efficiency of the people. Efficiency of labor is due to education, and through education, we get the training, skill, etc. Hence, infrastructure promotes skill formation and enhances efficiency and ability to work. Health as a key component of social infrastructure. Health is the holistic process related to the overall growth and development of the nation. So it is growth and development of the nation. It not only helps the nation as a whole, but also it helps for human development. This would increase the GDP of the country. Development of health infrastructure ensures a country of healthy manpower for the production of goods and services. Only healthy people can involve themselves in the production of goods and services. All production activity needs skill. Unskilled people cannot be productive. When a person is skilled, then this would lead to increase in efficiency, and this in turn increases productivity and production. Health infrastructure includes hospitals where good service is provided, and the contribution of doctors, nurses, and other paramedical professionals, beds, equipment like scanning instruments or X-ray. Such equipment should be there in hospitals, and a well-developed pharmaceutical industry. All the medicines which will not affect people, such medicines and other services should be provided through hospitals for better health of human beings. State of health infrastructure. The government has the constitutional obligation to guide and regulate all health related issues, and such issues such as medical education. So medical education, we have the NEET, adulteration of food, drugs and poisons, medical profession, vital statistics, mental deficiency, and lunacy. So when a person has some mental deficiency, or lunacy is mental disease related to mental ability. So all such issues which are related to health is taken care by our government. India has built a vast health infrastructure and manpower at different levels. Why do we need vast health infrastructure? Because health is very important for a person to work or to learn the skill and to enhance his knowledge. So health is very important for a human being. And that's the reason that India has built a vast health infrastructure and manpower at different levels. At the village level, a variety of hospitals, which are technically known as PHC, it means primary health centers, and they have been set up by the government. It is not only setting up by the government, but also government guides and regulates all health issues through such primary health centers. The expansion of health infrastructure has resulted in the eradication of smallpox, guinea worms, and the near eradication of polio and leprosy. The state of private sector health infrastructure in India. We know government alone cannot take care of healthcare facilities. Hence, private sector also contributes for health infrastructure, and many people who can afford to pay money, they consult doctors who are there in private hospitals. And government hospitals work for the welfare of the people. Almost all the villages and remote rural areas have the facilities of healthcare. Now let us see how the private sector helps the country. Private sector in India can be judged from the following facts. The private sector runs 70% of hospitals. So it means only 30% government hospitals, and the remaining 70% of the hospitals are run by private sector. It provides health care for 80% of outpatients, and during the year 2001-2, we have come to know that the private sector health infrastructure has employed 22 lakh people, like appointment of doctors, nurse, and other helpers who contribute for health sector. And this runs 13 lakh medical enterprises. Nearly 60% of dispensaries are run by the private sector healthcare centers.